What's going on, everyone? It's your guy, Pat Bernard. Well, all good things must come to an end. It stinks. It really stinks in here. What happened? What just happened? We played 3 quarters of solid football. What happened? This team can't score. I'm still blank here. I'm still in a pause here. How this Denver Broncos team came back and won this game. And mind you, the Broncos haven't yet to get a win on the road this year, but now they do. And now the undefeated streak comes to an end. And I don't know if this Eagles team took this Broncos team lightly, because that was a huge mistake. If they didn't get a little taste of their own in the first and second quarter of this first half, that defense was no joke. And I get it. The Eagles were making some great strides, right? Devontae Smith gets a nice long bomb. Saquon Barkley right out of the second half gets a nice little window of spacing, and he goes and makes a great touchdown. All that and fun stuff. And it looked like this Eagles team was going to be in cruise control. And they fell asleep at the wrong time. At the wrong time. Because Denver woke up. Sean Payton wasn't playing around anymore. He took Vic Fangio to the woodshed today, especially in the fourth. There was times where there was no pressure on Bo Nix, and I'm just perplexed right now. Like, this should have been which I would like to use, but I can't now. A win is a win because they lost, obviously. And they would have bowed out by the thick of their teeth. But again, like A.J. Brown, yes, you got plenty of touches in that first half. You and the rest of the wideout core. You, Goddard, Dotson. But the penalties in the second half kill this team in the fourth. Kill this team. And I'm embarrassed. This should have been a win. And this team took their foot off the gas pedal. And the stupid penalties that they were committing to. And everything is now going wrong for this Eagles team. Everything. And like I said, for a good portion of it, fine. They were playing good football. And they look, like I said, they look like they were in cruise control. They look like they had everything going with the RPOs, the play actions. They were getting guys open. But what happened out there? And Devontae Smith balling out in the first half. And again, this team cannot put up any points. They can only play one half of football for now the third straight week. And we saw this coming, right? You cannot, and Matty B called it for what it is. You cannot continue playing football. I've said this morning, you can't play football like this. This team has been walking around on eggshells, and then at some point now the egg is broken. And you could blame however you want to. If you think it's the Kevin Patula playbook, which I thought was pretty decent, you could blame Jalen Hurts, who might have been holding the ball. You got to give Denver Broncos their credit. They were playing the same defensive formations pretty much the entire game. It's just that they were playing better lockdown defense. Patrick Surtain was all over A.J. Brown. All over him. He was on him like flies on poop. And like I said, I'm just perplexed right now. How did we lose this game? How? It was there for the taking. It was there for the win. And we lost it. And I get it. This team is banged up with injuries. Up front on that offensive line. Leonard Dixon goes down today. In the first half, you pretty much didn't have Saquon, which didn't mean anything because, like I said, You had Jalen that was balling out today. In that first half. I mean, we got nothing from him in the second half. But again, I don't know if that's it. And he only had pretty much one option, and that was Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith was his only security blanket today, especially in that second half. Let's get to some of the comments here before I go any further. Right off the bat, my man Star Wars checking into the program. He goes, dumb penalty. Yeah, there was plenty of dumb penalties that they were committing to. He goes, Star Wars says, worst game of the season. I agree. And he says, too many flags were on us. Yes, that's what I'm alluding to. Too many dumb penalties, especially in the fourth. And it came back to haunt us. And really, the defense was getting somewhat burnt out. I mean, they were getting pressure on Bo Nix, but there was other times I've seen him wide open. Stay in the pocket and make his throws. And that's terrible. Terrible on the whole team. But I think we can all allude that the play calling was horrible. Steve checking in. What's up, my man? He goes, did I call or what? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Again, I don't know if this Eagles team thought they had this game won already in the third quarter, because that's the way they're portraying anyway. And again, Patrick Surtain is just all over A.J. Brown, especially in that second half. A.J. Brown barely getting open. And like I said, this team needs to be better. And there's no excuses. The loss was coming. We knew it was going to come. Al and Mike thought, especially Mike, who thought this was going to be a day at the beach. And I tried and told him, you might want to back your words there, because I didn't feel it. Steve, you didn't feel it. It was going to be an easy day. You would be nuts to think this was going to be an easy day at the office. And like I said, it's just, we knew this was going to happen. And like I said, I'll give Jalen Hurts his due. I'll stick with Jalen Hurts for a little bit longer on the subjects. Jalen Hurts, again, spread the ball around. He was doing great with his reads. Took what Denver was giving him. Really, again, he throws the long ball deep to Devontae Smith. He got Goddard in a couple plays. Goddard is a security blanket, especially in the red zone. And again, great touchdowns. But however, this for this team, for this Denver team to find new life at the tail end of the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth, and we had no adjustments, nothing to slow them down with. And I'm saying to myself, okay, the defense is going to step up and make a stop. The defense is going to slow them down. I mean, I'll give credit to this defense for 3+ quarters. Held this team to 3 points. But there was nothing in the offense. And it looked, A.J. Brown looked lazy at times. I mean, he was running cross routes and towards that end there where Patrick Surtain was all over him. And like I said, nothing was really creative there in the third quarter. The tail end of the third quarter. Nothing was creative in the fourth quarter. And then, again, you saw what Denver was doing. They were stacking the box, making sure that Saquon wasn't going to go anywhere. And they relied on their secondary to make big plays. That's what they were doing. That's when they went up 17-3. I figured they would be able to hold them off. Same, Steve. Same. I thought they would hold them off. Edge run defense was completely bad. Ali's out, etc. did nothing to contain the edge. No. The edge rushing was horrible. To stop it was horrible. And like I said, I'm embarrassed today. I'm embarrassed, Steve. To me, that's the big story. That, Steve, and I think, like I said, the bad penalties. The bad penalties were terrible. I think the dumb committing penalties, they took every time they looked like they had the Denver Broncos on the ropes, they committed a dumb penalty, which gave them the first down, which gave them major yardage. And here goes the numbers for today. Let's go with the Eagles again. Going with the Eagles, Jalen Hurts say 23 completions out of 38 attempts, 280 yards, 2 TDs, no interceptions. He refuses to get an interception. However, he was sacked 6 times today for 23 yards. Sacked 6 times today. And you can see that where the wear and tear on the offensive line, they're banged up. They are banged up. Like, it's usually that next man up mentality with this team, and it's not the case at all. You got an older, Lane Johnson consistently gets hurt. Yeah, that whole offensive line is in trouble. That Dickerson's gotten hurt. The whole offensive line's in big trouble. Saquon Barkley today, 6 carries for 30 yards. Again, they are shutting down and stacking the box. And like I said earlier, expect this in the future. Yes, you may get a decent half somewhere, but now you're playing better defenses that are going to continue to shut down and stack the box to take Saquon out of the equation. And then you got what? A.J. Brown, I'm sorry. I know you could cry about wanting to get you got some touches today. But it's not enough. And here we go. Receiving catches, right? Devontae Smith, over 100 yards of 8 catches for 114 yards. Saquon Barkley, 3 catches, 50 yards, and he had that nice, the one he made a great separation on the outside. They takes him for the touchdown. That put the Eagles team up 17-3. A.J. Brown today, 5 catches for 43 yards. Jalen Dotson for the 1 catch. I thought the 1 catch he should have had, I thought it definitely was in bounds, and he wasn't. Let's get back to some of the stuff here. Steve says the 2023 Crow will be calling this the Jets game. Maybe. And they have every right. Worst weekend for us, the Phillies too, also. Yeah, Star Wars sucks. It sucks when your Phillies go down and now the Eagles get their first loss. But we knew the first loss was going to come at some point, right? So many bad calls on both teams come from Steve. I get you. And there were, look, I said, I don't know, but there was a lot of committed dumb penalties, especially with the Eagles in the fourth. And again, they hurt themselves more than they helped themselves today, especially in the fourth. And look, man, Broncos just they clicked it, man. They turned things up. Every time that their defense forced a turnover on downs, their offense came up huge. Bo Nixon was able to dink and dunk and walk up and down the field on the Eagles with no problem. And every time he looked like he was in a hairy situation, he was able to converse on third downs. Zone with spy, yep. They contained Jalen. Yeah, Jalen really didn't go anywhere. He was more pocket passing today. Jalen was more pocket passing today. I think this weekend really does wake up both teams. There was a intentional grounding. Yeah, there was intentional grounding. And listen, they got some calls. They didn't, whatever. I'm not here to blame the refs. That's a coward's way. The fact of the matter is that the Eagles did not do their job. They didn't win the game. Point blank. Just blame the players. Blame the coaching. Blame the team for not able to score points in the second half. And that's a shame. Just when I thought the Kevin Patullo playbook was working, again, I only got to see one half of it. But they couldn't put together any significant big plays. And again, the penalties hurt this team. And that's on them, not the referees, by the way. Everyone wants Jalen to throw big numbers as he threw for 280 yards, 2 TDs. And with I got you, Kaepernick. The double flip-flop on the intentional grounding was ridiculous. Keystone Cop stuff. Yeah, I got you. But again, listen, the Eagles, they need to get back to the drawing board. It sucks. This is their first home loss in a long time. Again, this was a must-win for the Broncos. They haven't won yet on the road. They came into Philly, came into the danger zone, and they walked out of it. They took care of business today. Bo Nix today, 24 completions for 39 yards. And again, he didn't really do much in the first half. The defense, the Philadelphia Eagles defense, did a great job containing him. But however, that second half, especially in that third quarter, late in the third, 242 yards, 1 TD. He was sacked twice for 14 yards. Dobson, 20 carries for 79 yards, a TD. Sutton, 8 catches for 99 yards. Troy Franklin, 3 catches, 35 yards. Evan Ingram today came up big for the Denver Broncos. A Sean Payton guy. 4 catches for 33 yards and a TD. But the big question is where this team goes from here. Because I wonder if there's going to be more losses to follow after this. But the bottom line is you let the team down with a good defense to stick around. Yeah. And that's what happens. They stuck around. The Denver's defense is what kept them in the game, forced his team to go 3 and out multiple times in that second half. And the Denver Broncos defense picked up on it. Defense misses Brandon Graham and Noah Smith's edge today. It contained them today. Yeah. This was horrible, Steve. This is, again, I know it's just their first loss, but I feel like I'm at 0-5. I feel like the world's falling with this Eagles team. I do. I feel like the Eagles, I don't know why. I feel sick to my stomach off of one loss. Because maybe I expect more losses like this to come where they can't put together 4 quarters of football. Again, they brought great pressure into the first half, all that and fun stuff and more. But you knew at some point, when your team keeps on going 3 and out, you're only going to work and cause fatigue to your own defense. And that's what happened. So let's look at the defense's numbers. Zach Bond today, 1 sack. He was huge today. Zachary Smith today, a sack himself. Again, they put up 2 sacks. I thought the defense did A-OK. And like I said, up until late when they got burned out. When they got burned out. And Steve, I do want to talk about this. The 5-3 into the bye is possible, but also the 13-4. I don't know, Steve. I don't. Again, I thought the play calling of last year was totally flipped, and maybe it does. Maybe it gets better heading it, after the bye. But I think the play calling is what it is. Like the play calling of Kevin Patullo and Jalen Hurts has to figure out how can they win without Saquon Barkley. Their bread and butter of last year. How can they win football games? And it's hurting them. It's hurting them to try and take the ball up the middle when they can't, when it's been taken out of the equation. And now they have to come up with plays. And Jalen, you saw today, Steve, they contained him. He only had, 2 runs in the entire game, if I'm not mistaken. He only had 2 runs the entire time. The rushing, ready? Jalen Hurts, yes. 2 carries for 3 yards. He didn't go anywhere. He didn't go anywhere. Ryan said, "We've been saying for Jalen pass, but we've been saying for Jalen to pass, but not 44 times. More likely 25 times with longer throws while still running with the ball. Not just pass. Still need to run game 2. Yeah, but the problem is, Ryan, they are taking away the run game. Every defense that the Eagles are facing are taking away the run game. That Rams second half was the only time I saw the Eagles run successfully. Every defense from here on out is going to be tough. Now they have a formula. As much as I want to put this on Patullo, in reality it wasn't. There was plenty of plays where they had the right call and the right execution on the O-line. Wasn't that right. And that's what I'm saying too. The O-line, you got to take in consideration the O-line is banged up and it's old, right? Lane Johnson, how much tread does he have left on that tire? How much? Landon Dickerson constantly getting hurt too. This O-line is banged up. And this is not always, and that whole next man up mentality is not always going to work every single year. Need a balance, not one extreme of the other. But Ron, that's the problem though. He has to throw 44 times. They have to be creative in the passing game because this is how this team's going to win. Until defenses switch out formations, because it's pretty much the same one that Vic Fangio threw out today. It's the nickel. Drop back in coverage. Play lockdown defense. Jalen's having a tough time finding somebody open. And maybe that's him playing a little bit too hard, too much ball security and not want to take the gamble on throwing picks. And I get that. He's doing a great job of it. But at the same time, I guess, we can only see through our TV screens, right? It's different when you're at the game and you can see the whole field and seeing what works. And they're taking everything away from Jalen. He needs a plan B, and I don't know if he can do that. Steve says exactly. They definitely need to pass to set up the run, but they had dumb penalties today. For the first time in this year, it happened. Exactly. The penalties hurt this team. Funny thing is they got all of those slants. They went deep. They got it in a few times. That wasn't the issue. The run block has to be better. And that's true. That is true too. The run block has to be better. That's very true. the run block game has to be better. That's absolutely true, Steve. So again, Eagles today get their first loss. How do you feel, Eagles fans? Did you see this loss coming? Because this wasn't in my bingo card today. I was feeling good, being up 17-3. I was feeling confident this was going to be the score for today. I thought maybe they were going to get one more TD involved. And I was wrong. Denver flipped the script. 5.5 minutes, they caused a variety of damage, putting up 15 points. 15 points. 2 touchdowns. And the 2-point conversion in 5.5 minutes. They march up and down on this Birds team. Calls them 3 and outs consistently. This was a stinger. I thought for sure the Eagles were going to find themselves a win. Somehow, someway, they were going to find a will to win. I want to say a win to win. But I can't. I'll say they lost. I can't. This is disgusting. I feel like this is going to be more losses coming. And I hope that I'm wrong. Now, again, the film is out on the Birds. The film is out. You don't think the Giants are going to run the same kind of defensive formula? To shut down Jalen, to shut down Saquon, to take away his passing game? You don't think they're going to do the same thing? And we're looking, oh, it's just the Giants. We said the same thing about the Broncos today. And it bit them in the butt today. It bit them in the butt. And now there may be potential venom. That might have been a venomous bite into the butt. A venomous bite. Right in the old Knish. Because I don't know if the Birds can bounce back from this. I don't. Yeah, you felt good about being 4-0, but did you really feel like it was a 4-0 team? No. They've been walking around on eggshells, and now they broke one. I'm just hoping the whole carton doesn't break now. Steve's saying everything we called for Petula to do was actually done for the most part. Exactly. He was creative with the play ball. Guys were getting open across the middle. Guys were getting open on the edges. Creating separation. Devontae Smith catching a big-time bomb. Dodson would have called it a big-time bomb, but they wound up saying that he dropped it. Or he went out of bounds. Excuse me. It was nice. And then guess what? They made their adjustments during the game. Eagles didn't. It happens. And you have a banged up offensive line. Take that in consideration. And every defense is going to come to eat. Steve says 6 sacks and bad blocking. They need to sit Jurgens and Dickerson a bit to bite the bullet. They need a week. They need a week off. They do. They need a week off. I couldn't believe people thought they would be a blowout today. I thought. Yeah, again, remember, Steve? You and I were talking to that dope Mike Lara, my broadcast partner. He thought today was going to be a day at the beach. Oh, the Eagles are going to win big. Oh. No. Not so fast there, Jack. That's why I told him. I said, you might want to pump the brakes a little bit. Pump the brakes a little bit. It's not the same team. The Eagles fan checking in. The Eagles season is over. Wow. Well, oh well. I don't know if it's over. It's certainly it sounds that way. It feels that way. But again, Eagles fan, I don't know. I don't know if the play calling is going to get better. I don't know what else they can do. Every defense feels like they got them figured out. And there hasn't been a real adjustment for 4 quarters to have a counter punch ready. There is no counter punch ready. Eagles fans also checking. Eagles are the worst team in the NFL. I don't know about that. But again, they could be a bottom feeder. This could be one of many losses that are coming. This could be signs. They're going to head in that direction. I hope that I'm not. And again, I'm looking at this Giants team as a win for now. But again, you don't think the Giants are going to put together a game plan similar to the Broncos to shut things down? And Jackson Dart, the fresh arm that they got, again, they didn't win today, but he's opened some eyes. He can make plays with his arm. Steve says, so big picture, 4-1 at this point. I'm still okay. We need to win the easier games up until the bye. Yeah, but Steve, that's what I'm saying. What's going to be an easy game if they all are going to go into the film room and see what works? Hey, look, that worked for the Broncos. Let me try that. Take yourself into the Giants room, right? It's going to be the same thing. I do believe we can figure it out, but maybe not as soon as people want. I hope so. I hope that I'm wrong. But again, it's now Saquon is now not an X factor. It's 5 games now. He hasn't had a game like he's had it last year, where he's steamrolling and running over people. All these defense has figured to shut him down. And now today, to take it a step further, Denver has figured just to make Jalen Hurts a pocket passer. A pocket passer. And he looked good for 3 quarters of football. He looked really, really good. But when guys couldn't figure out how to get open anymore and they're bringing pressure and all those other things, it became too much. And like I said, I hope that I'm wrong, but I hope Thursday ain't going to be an L too. It's just, and like I said, moral of the story, penalties hurt you today. Not putting together any more touchdowns or any other kind of points in the second half hurt you. And you took your foot off the gas pedal, and this Denver team came back to bite you with a venomous bite. Venomous. I think now there's venom in this Eagles team. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope that this is just a bite, not a venomous bite. But we're going to find out soon. Steve says 5-3 at the 5 is fine with me. All right. Can they get the 5 wins at this point, at this juncture? Probably. They probably get a win over the Giants. But I'm telling you, it's not going to be easy. One's a divisional game. No divisional game is ever easy. There are no gimmies. But again, this was ugly today. Look, it's been ugly up until this point, but now they paid the price. Now they paid the piper of an L. There should have been many L's weeks ago. And they've gotten out of situations by the thick of the skin of their teeth. Washington losing would be huge. Yeah. So, anyway, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me today on this Eagles post game. I'm going to be pretty much your Eagles post game host from here on out. But again, guys, check out the network. If you haven't yet, this is your first time checking it out. It's Aroused Sports. We got great content, great hosts. Mike Lauro, Matty B, Big Al, our partners over in Pittsburgh. That's right. If you don't know yet, we have a Pittsburgh fan, partnership with the Steel City Sports, the Pittsburgh Sport Desk, and so forth. So let me go show you guys what's on our agenda moving forward. And tonight, you're gonna find out what's steaming in Matty B's hair. Steaming, because he's got you covered tonight. The Final Word with Matty B at 10 o'clock for all you night owls. So if you can't sleep, if the Eagles are calls you not to sleep and you need a therapist, well, here's your guy right here. Matty B will have you covered. He is the doctor of thugonomics. He is going to have you covered tonight at 10 o'clock. And if he has any hair left, you see that fine brown hair in this graphic. Well, that all might be gone. And then, of course, guys, again, going over the schedule real fast. Monday through Thursdays with Matty B. Friday nights are with me, the wraparound, 10:30 for all you night owls. We continue walk talk at the nighttime hour. I got you Friday nights from 10:30 on. And then, of course, guys, throughout the week, we have, like I mentioned, Wednesdays at 8 o'clock, or 7 o'clock, rather, we have props, locks, and parlays with Mike Lauro. Him and my good buddy Paul Spencer, they do a great show talking prop bets for entertainment purposes only. And then, of course, you got, like I mentioned to you earlier, the Pittsburgh Sports Desk at 8 o'clock on Wednesdays. The Pittsburgh Sports Desk with my man Will, Ed, and Tracy. They do a great job talking everything Pittsburgh. And like, again, mentioned, it's Aroused, the official Pennsylvania sports show. The Gridiron Weekly, that's right. Will and Ed, they do a great job talking everything football, everything pigskin, NFL, NCAA, you name it. They'll bring, you want to talk some foosball, they'll talk some foosball with you. And then now the new time slot too, right here. We go from Thursdays now to Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. with your boy Pat Bernard. I will be talking Union soccer. Union looking really good, winning the Supporting Shield. I'll have a lot to bring to your table. And, of course, going later on those Saturdays is none other than the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mike Lauer, has got you. I don't know if it's Happy Valley anymore, but he's got you. He'll be talking Penn State football with you till, well, he might be getting his wish, but until the end of time. He's got you for the rest of the season. Mike Lauer does a great job here doing every Penn State post game, and it's about him when they fired James Franklin. So, but he does a great job. And of course, guys, let's get into some more conversation here. Let's not forget tomorrow, PM and AM, me, Mike, Phillies post game show. We'll have you covered for the fighting finals tomorrow, and we'll break this all down. All right, guys. I think you heard enough out of me today. Again, handing the ball over to Matty B at the 10:30 hour. He'll be back. I can only imagine and listen to what steam is going to be coming out through his ears, because he is probably irate at the Birds' loss. All right, guys, have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your night. Go Birds, and I'll catch you later tomorrow.